As promised, I will give you What If Yagami Became a Ghoul Part 3. Now, one of my YouTubers requested this on one of his comments, saying that he really liked what I was doing with Light as a character. And of course, I just wanted to give Light more of a character arc rather than just him slowly going bad because the plot demanded to, like in Death Note. And with that out of the way, let's get on to the video. To be clear, we're going to follow the manga rather than the anime, because in the anime, Kaneki joins the Aogiri, which is something that he would never do. Not even Light Turner would do that. So, we're going to follow the manga instead. And with that out of the way, let's get on with it. After Light kills Jason, Light puts on his eye patch mask like how Kaneki does in the manga. Light faces off with Ayato, but this time, Light uses smarts and intelligence to beat him by manipulating him to surrender. So, Light, of course, assembles some of his followers, including Tsukiyama, Hinami, Banjo, and of course some ghouls that worship Kira because of what he was doing, about his speeches. Of course, Kira and Eye Patch are the same persona that Light takes up, so they're kind of like the Black Knights in Code Geass. And of course, Light doesn't just have one intention, like usually just protecting everyone he loves, but not just that, but he also wants to fix this world with his Black Knights. So I'm going to call them Black Knights. I can still call them the Kira supporters or Kira followers, like in the manga. So that's what's going to happen. So they're trying to fight Aogiri and the CCG. Light had to interrogate and kidnap Madame A, who collaborated with Dr. Kano. He decides to disguise himself as a meal of the night, but then is attacked by other ghouls, including the twins. Of course, Madame A escapes. Later, when Light was investigating Rize, he came across a ghoul who had the same last name as Rize, but went by the alias of Shachi. Light decided to come to Ittori for answers about Kano. However, Ittori says that he used to be affiliated with the CCG, and that he was experimenting on people by turning them into ghouls. However, Naki, one of my hated characters, shows up while Light becomes aggressive and asks him about what's going on. But after that nonsense, Light, however, still has to keep interrogating L, so he doesn't have that much suspicion, so he can also eliminate him as well, like all the other CCG members except Amon. He tells his best friends about the information that he got from Naki about Kano working for the CCG at one point, and about the One-Eyed King. They plan to go back to the 20th ward, so they go to the hospital that Kaneki was, so Light gets more information about what happens to Kano. Light and his team decided to raid Kano's lab. However, he had to face the twins and, of course, capture Madame A. He eventually gets to Kano's lab eventually, and then he discovers Rize is in there alive, and then he eventually finds out about how Yoshimura created the Aogiri, and Light is a bit shocked about it, but Yomo reminds him about what's going on and tells him to be optimistic about it. Of course, he's going to visit him later. Now, this is where things start to change. Light does not eat the half-ghouls that Kano sends him. So basically, Light is more smart enough, and this means Light doesn't become a Kakuja like Kaneki. Of course, he leaves before the CCG come. And of course, he's able to develop good and healthy relationships with his new friends. In the Onteku raid arc, L manages to piece together that Yoshimura is the One-Eyed King. Well, former One-Eyed King, depending on what you would call him. Light overhears this and plans to save Yoshimura and stop L once and for all. But when he's on his way, he runs into Amon by accident, and the two engage in a fight. But this time, Light uses his smarts to talk Amon down, trying to convince him about the truth about ghouls. But Amon tries hard not to listen to whatever Light says, and then he's given a new Quinque, and they both battle it out. But of course, Light knocks him out unconscious, and of course he doesn't suffer the wounds that Kaneki suffered. He doesn't retreat to the sewers, no. He straight up helps Yoshimura, and of course he manages to kill Eto. God, I really hate that girl. Now, how Light finally kills L plays out different compared to the anime. He waits until this grand big finale event, which is now the Ontaku Raid arc, and then he finally shows up out of nowhere, and of course slices hit L through with his Kagane, and of course throwing L's dead body somewhere and then burning it. And of course, he lets out a speech telling all the ghouls and people, or the CCG members, about how we shouldn't fight and how we should get along. And he's come up with solutions for them to coexist, like using the dead bodies that committed suicide. Or, for example, ghouls can just eat a part of their bodies rather than eating each other, like normal. Basically, the CCG are arrested, and of course, there were more conspiracies that were eventually found out. Kano is also arrested as well. And of course, Light goes back to his normal life. Well, things have changed. It ends like Tokyo Ghoul Re, I guess, where ghouls and humans are now living in harmony because of his speech and a lot of other stuff, his rebellion. And I'm going to have to end this video here because I don't want to tackle Re, because I don't think there's going to be any highs there or stuff like that, because I had fun making these videos, and as always, thanks for watching. If you subscribe, share, like, and comment.